We don't even ask happiness, just a little less pain. We are like roses that have never bothered to bloom when we should have bloomed, and it is as if the sun has become disgusted with waiting. The problem was you had to keep choosing between one evil or another, and no matter what you chose, they sliced a little bit more off you, until there was nothing left. At the age of 25 most people were finished. A whole goddamned nation of assholes driving automobiles, eating, having babies, doing everything in the worst way possible, like voting for the presidential candidates who reminded them most of themselves. I had no interests. I had no interest in anything. I had no idea how I was going to escape. At least the others had some taste for life. They seemed to understand something that I didn't understand. Maybe I was lacking. It was possible. I often felt inferior. I just wanted to get away from them. But there was no place to go. Some moments are nice, some are nicer, some are even worth writing about. I never met another man I'd rather be. And even if that's a delusion, it's a lucky one. Oh, I don't mean you're handsome, not the way people think of handsome. Your face seems kind. But your eyes, they're beautiful. They're wild, crazy, like some animal peering out of a forest on fire. If you have the ability to love, love yourself first. I wasn't a misanthrope and I wasn't a misogynist, but I liked being alone. It felt good to sit alone in a small space and smoke and drink. I had always been good company for myself. I wasn't lonely. I experienced no self-pity. I was just caught up in a life in which I could find no meaning. When God created love, he didn't help most. When God created dogs, he didn't help dogs. When God created plants, that was average. When God created hate, we had a standard utility. When God created me, he created me. When God created the monkey, he was asleep. When he created the giraffe, he was drunk. When he created narcotics, he was high. And when he created suicide, he was low. When he created you lying in bed, he knew what he was doing. He was drunk and he was high, and he created the mountains and the sea and fire at the same time. He made some mistakes, but when he created you lying in bed, he came all over his blessed universe. I didn't have any friends at school, didn't want any. I felt better being alone. I sat on a bench and watched the others play, and they looked foolish to me. Regret is mostly caused by not having done anything. What is your advice to young writers? Drink, fuck and smoke plenty of cigarettes. Frankly, I was horrified by life, at what a man had to do simply in order to eat, sleep, and keep himself clothed. So I stayed in bed and drank. When you drank, the world was still out there, but for the moment it didn't have you by the throat. When we were kids laying around the lawn on our bellies, we often talked about how we'd like to die, and we all agreed on the same thing. We'd all like to die fucking, although none of us had done any fucking. And now that we are hardly kids any longer, we think more about how not to die, and although we're ready, most of us would prefer to do it alone, under the sheets. Now that most of us have fucked our